Hi, I just wanted to talk about this book because I love talking and I want to talk about everything I see or read. And I don't claim to be like a reader or critique because I used to read as a child, like storybook and comic books. And then I completely lost the plot and I have not read anything for a long time. And this is what I read about now. And I just want to talk about it because I don't have friends here and I'm really unemployed. So, yeah, I don't know how to talk about this, but we'll see where this goes. So, let's get started. This book is Gone Girl, written by Gillian Flynn. I'm gonna reverse image this. Yeah. So, this book, I knew the plot of it for a bit because there's a freaking movie about it. So, obviously, I'm gonna know. And I knew that this guy's gonna cheat on her and she's gonna go batshit crazy. But it still was an interesting read, even though you knew like what the twist was coming, right? And after reading this book, I watched the movie as well. I think I enjoyed the book a bit more than the movie, obvious reasons. Because in the book you can read people's thought, like what is Amy thinking. Amy and Nick are the two main characters, and you can literally see what Amy is thinking, what is her next plan. You can get to know her a bit more, also Nick as well, and you can see what's Nick's thinking, even though he's saying something else, what's going on in his mind. You can get to know them more intimately than on the movies, I believe. So the this book started like I felt very disappointing because first we are reading Nick's side. Okay, so Nick is describing only two women for the first few pages, and he is talking about his twin sister Margot, who he calls as Go, and his wife Amy. And he's talking about how he met Amy, how what their rituals are, blah blah blah. And he's describing his sister as well, how they talk, what kind of banter they have, what kind of relationship they are having, all that. And I felt so disappointed, like why is he describing these women as only of the two kinds? Like Margot is like she's one of the boys kind of girl, and he doesn't say this explicitly, but we feel like she would get me, she gets me, she is not like other girls. He described Margot like that, and he describes Amy like she's a manic pixie kind of girl, like she's just like every other wife, she wants to do all these flimsy things. And I was like, why is a female writer writing this so very generic stereotypical female characters? And I was very disappointed to read all that. And the book goes like Nick says Amy says, Nick says Amy says, so it goes like that. And after a few when I'm reading about like Nick is saying their anniversary is like very hard work, like why can't she just chill out? Why is she doing this elaborate eventful anniversary stuff? Why I also felt like, why is she like this, like why is she being so annoying, like a annoying wife? What is this character? And then you read Amy's side and you understand that what she expects, how she views this marriage, and what this events like mean to her, why is she doing this anniversary ritual, everything that means to her. And then I understand she's just a girl, she's just trying to live her life, have a nice family and everything. And then you side with her, you understand her. And at a point I felt like when I'm reading Nick's side, I'm like, yeah, you're right, she feels too much. And then you read Amy's side and you're like, yeah, you're right, he isn't paying enough attention and you gotta do all this, right? And then you get the twist that all this was lies and you have been pranked. I loved that. I loved that I was siding with Diary Amy and I was understanding Nick. And it really showed how people are like very complex creatures, and it's not like very surface level. You can understand these people. And then you realize that Diary Amy is just Diary Amy. She is just the cool girl, or the girl you want to see, or you would wish you would side with them, right? Yeah. And then something else that I really loved is, whenever you are in a conversation or in a movie or like in a book, you don't want to side with the bad guys, right? You don't want to be like, if you're having a conversation and you don't want a Trump supporter to be like, hey, twinsies with you, right? So it's kind of like a weird creepy feeling that you get when you find yourself relatable with the wrong person. And wonderfully so, nobody in this book is actually a nice person. Like Nick cheats on Amy, and Amy is somebody who is like, trying to fit all the boxes that she is pleasing to him. She is so like, as she says in her own words, that I am the cool girl that Nix wants to be with. She has molded herself into somebody that Nick would like. She talks and speaks in a way that Nick would find her fascinating, and I find that so relatable. Like, even I love the part that this book has a interview at the end, which with the author, and she asks, does the cool girl exist? And this is the author's answer. I think there are lowercase cool girls, which is the other type of cool girls, like the normal, what do you think cool person would look like? That's the lowercase cool girl. Women who are interesting and smart and funny, and their own people with their own strange likes and dislikes. I think that's what makes you cool, when you have your own likes, your own dislikes, your own opinions and everything. But cool girl doesn't exist. The capitalized cool girl doesn't exist because she's a male fabrication. Obviously, the point of that whole diatribe is that there are plenty of women who pretend to be the cool girl, who pretend to like everything the guy likes, and who play into certain stereotypes that are actually really not, on the whole, helpful to women or men, that for that matter. To pretend to be today's cool girl is just as restrictive and confining as it was for women back in 1950s, who were forced to be the happy homemaker. Did you get reminded of Nara Smith at some point? Because I did. And it's sad, though, since today we actually have the choice to be who we are, and we are still not making that choice. We are still too often molding ourselves into what we believe will be pleasing to men, and I think that's absolutely right. We are pretending to be somebody so that the guys would pay attention to us, so that we feel validated by men and even women, because to be a girl means to have that obedience, or not questioning anybody, or pleasing society and other men. And I think that's Amy puts it in a very really good way. Like, anybody can do that. Like, anybody can fit into these boxes or pretend to enjoy all this pleasing, but it's anybody can do that. And it's like, why am I agreeing with this psychopathic of a woman? Because like, you don't want to agree with psychopaths, but she is right. She's so right in this. I want to read a bit. Like, she's saying, I hope you like Diary Amy. She was meant to be likable, meant for someone like you to like her, which is true, because I started empathizing with her. I found out that she's a nice person and all. And then she's easy to like. I've never understood why that's considered a compliment, that anyone could just like you, no matter. I thought that the entries turned out nicely, and it wasn't simple. I had to maintain an affable, if somewhat naive persona, a woman who loved her husband and could see some of his flaws. Otherwise, she would be too much of a sap, but sincerely devoted to him, all the while leading the reader, in this case, cops and us. So eager for them to find it, towards the conclusion that Nick was indeed planning to kill me. So many clues to unpack and so many surprises ahead, which is true. I did fell for the trap, even though I knew that she was a psychopath. I was like, maybe she's not a psychopath, she's just misunderstood. But she definitely was. She's very cunning and cruel, especially at the portion where she spits onto somebody else's food because they did not agree with her. I think that's really psychotic. Yeah, and but when I read this, like, she's easy to like, and I don't understand why that's a compliment, which is true for me as a people pleaser, who I think, like, that's a dog. I think that everybody should like me. I cannot be hated. If they get to know me, they would like me, like, bam, from the office, as she says. So I think that's just a stupid thing to do, because anybody could do it, and it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so after you start reading the actual Amy and not the diary Amy, you start to realize that the first thought that you had, that these are just, why are the women characters like this, you understand that these women, both Margot and Amy, or even Nick's mother, everybody you have been seeing through Nick's lens, which is a male lens. And I don't think he ever got to know a woman deeply. He just saw them like accessories to his life. He did not see any of these women as a person, I guess. And that's what makes this amazing, because you get to see that these women, as described by Nick, are entirely different than these women as a person. And I absolutely loved that, like that form of writing. And it made me realize, like when like the Rashomon effect, when somebody says something about you, it's their perception of you and it's not the real you. I think that's just amazing. Like it just opened something in my brain. Like, yeah. And I think everybody should read this book. It's wonderful, it's amazing, and I would love to read other books from this author, which is Sharp Objects and Dark Places, for sure. I don't want to read this book because I don't have the expertise or the reading level to rate a book, but I would place it, like, for me, I would definitely recommend this. Yeah, that's it. That's that. um, I That's it about the book. About the movie, I really loved the movie as well. I don't know, like I did not. It was more of a like, oh, this is that, like understanding the reference points rather than looking for the plot or like looking for the story in the movie, because I already knew it. But I think, as I said before, books give you a deeper or more intimate connection with the author or the characters, and movie did not. Like, I enjoyed the movie, it was great. The essence of the book is in the movie as well, I would definitely say that. But I cannot hear their thoughts, and I felt like something is missing because I cannot hear their thoughts. Like, I wanted to hear their thoughts because they are very mysterious and manipulative people, and a lot of that stuff happens in here, and you cannot see that on the screen. Like, you have, I mean, I knew it, but I don't know if other audiences who has not read the book would understand how well disciplined and cunningly they are thinking. Yeah, so yeah. And it was very nice visuals in the movie, like the sugar dust and all that. That was really a nice scene. It gives some connection for us. Yeah, that's that. I think this is the end of the review. Okay, thanks, bye.